as well. Okay. Okay, I am recording my lecture from here on. So I welcome all of you to this class, which I have named as a laboratory assessment or a laboratory class for Bio 100 students, for introductory biology student. Since the course which we are in is a 4 credit course, and it includes the lab as well, and we don't have a lab, so it is a little bit complicated for me as an instructor to find a way that how I can design a certain type of experiments which can satisfy particularly me, क्योंकि मेरा satisfy होना बहुत जरूरी, which should particularly satisfy me कि I have taught you something which is related to some sort of experimental science. So you should feel that you have executed certain experiments. So I have designed 2 lab activities which you can do, which you can execute at your home without having any well-defined and organized lab. So you will be in a position where you will be executing an experiment which belongs to your Biology 100 course, 2 experiments, and you can do those 2 experiments without any instrument. You don't need any instrument, you do not need any laboratory, but yet those 2 will be your experiments. And I want to do these things because that at the end of the semester, when like my name is written with this course with you people, so and it will also be written as a laboratory course, so you cannot tell your kids and your friends that we were so lucky that during our times the coronavirus pushed us away from the laboratory and we have a course with the lab credit, but we did not execute any experiment. So you can't speak like this in the future. I will make it sure. So today I will be sharing with you the 2 laboratory activities which you will be executing in the next week. So that means you will going to have a full week from today onward to execute those experiments. So with the help of these 2 lab activities, I want you to learn 2 things. Number 1, that is obvious about a certain biological phenomena, about certain biological content I want you to understand, which I will be teaching shortly. And the second most important thing which I want you to learn is how to collect and organize scientific data and how to present that scientific data in a more meaningful way. So since this is like I will be teaching this thing in 2 sessions, it will be very quick, but of course we can talk more and more in the upcoming classes in the question answer sessions about these activities. Okay, so from here on I will be talking on the 2 laboratory activities which I have designed for you people as a part of your introductory biology course, and I am sharing my screen with you so you can see the PowerPoint slides and the other things I will be sharing with you. Here we go. I'm sure you can see the lab activity PowerPoint slide on your screens. So there are 2 lab activities which I want you to which I want you to execute as an experiment. The first, that you should know what is body mass index. and how that body mass index is calculated. This is pretty easy and it will not require much of the things, and you will be able to execute that activity without much fuss. And I'm sure most of you already know about the body mass index. There are certain apps present in your cell phones which can help you to calculate what that body mass index is. So as a starter, just it's a very simple formula which we use to calculate the body mass index, and that formula requires two readings from any person. The first is its weight and the other is its height. The weight and the height, and then you can use a certain very simple formula to calculate the body mass index. You need to make sure and you need to be very careful while putting the values that the values should be placed with the proper units. Otherwise, you will be getting the body mass index values which might not look, correct to you. So you need to be very accurate that the units should be the one which I will be teaching with you. I took help from certain videos for this lecture so that so you can reproduce those videos on your computers later on, the YouTube videos, to help you that how you can calculate the body mass index. So it's not a big deal. All you need to know is to know about the mass of that person, and number two is the height of that person. After that, using the mass and then the height scale, you will be able to calculate the body mass index of that person. Indirectly, it's a way which can help us to figure out about our physiological condition. That a very big question we usually ask to ourselves, that whether I'm fit enough, or I'm getting fatter, I'm developing some fat, am I chubby, or I'm underweight. So you will be able to get those answers scientifically. The reading and the answers will help you to know that where you exist on the scale of the body mass index. Like if you are living on an edge, living on the border between an underweight and a normal person, so you can change your lifestyle. You can preempt that if you are not going to live in a healthier way, you might be entering into the underweight zone. Or if you are living in a border between the normal and the overweight region, you can preempt that if I kept on moving with the same routine, I might be ended into a person who has overweight. And you know that having more weight in your body than normal, having an abnormal body mass index, is associated with lots of medical health concerns. It can be a reason of many different diseases, particularly cardiovascular diseases and the diabetes and the others. Okay, so let me start with the first thing, that how you can calculate the body mass index. Okay, I have muted the YouTube video because I will be speaking on the behalf of the video with you people. The first thing, you need to calculate the weight in kilograms. That's very important. I told you it's all about what? It's all about having the things. It's all about putting the right units out there. You need a scale. Most of us do have the scale. But let's suppose if one of the student is telling me on the WhatsApp, सर जी मेरे घर में तो कोई वजन करने वाली मशीन नहीं है, I will not be able to calculate. क्योंकि हम हमेशा सोचते हैं काम करना हमने नहीं कैसे करना. Okay, so if you failed to measure your weight and the weight of other people, I mean, you might have remember कि मेरा वजन जो है वो my weight was like 62 kilograms or 60 kilograms or 70 kilograms. So you can use that value, and you should know about your height as well. If you know your height in centimeters, you should convert it into meters. Google can do this for you. Okay, just put the values, convert meter into centimeter or centimeter into meters. But the units which you will be using must be in kilograms, and for the height it must be in meters. And that is the only way you will be able to get the correct body mass index. You will not only calculating your own body mass index, but you are also required to calculate the body mass index of the other people as well. This is the experiment. So you will start it with yourself, and then you can start asking or calculating the body mass index of your family and then the friends. And you can do this even without meeting with anybody, keeping your social distance. On the cell phone, you are asking your friend, okay, what is your mass? Just tell me. What is your weight? Tell me. Okay, 65 kilograms. Thank you very much. You can ask me as well here. And then, what is your height? Typically, we used to tell other people, my height is 5.9, 5.8, something like that. 5 feet 7 inches. Then you need to convert that value into, remember, you need to convert that value into meters to put that into the formula. Once you have those values with you, you can calculate with the help of a very simple formula. Look at the formula. W is for the mass, and h square is the height. Height in meters. W mass in kilograms. After you calculate your body mass index, you have to compare that value with the table. For example, the table is telling that if the body mass index value results in like less than 18.5, the person is supposed to be underweight, is thin, skinny. If the body mass index is about 18.6 to 24 and that person is supposed to be normal, healthy, carrying the healthy body mass index. 25 to 29.9 means the person is overweight, and more than 30 means the person is obese. So with these values, you can tell your friends, family, and the loved ones. You can tell your mom, you need to be very careful with your weight. You are like close to be, overweight. I don't want you to be overweight, so you need to like to exercise and other things. You need to tell these beautiful numbers to your friends and family about themselves. Unke bare mein, you need to tell them their BMI. It's not about telling them their BMI, but also telling them that where in the scale they exist. Whether they are in the middle of the normal, they are close to the overweight, they are close to the underweight. Okay, so here is an example. If the person weight is 90 kilograms and its weight is 1.77 meters, they put 90 kilograms there, 1.77 raised to power 2 ended up in 28.7, and then go back to the chart and see where 28.7 lives. It lives in an overweight region. So that person is supposed to be overweight. It needs to reduce its mass so that you can try these things with other units as well, but of course the scale will be different. If you are using in pounds and in centimeters, the scale will be different. You need to be very careful that what scale you are using. The primary thing which I want you to try is to use the scale of kilograms and the meter, the first one. Okay, and that is the most standard way, and in the meanwhile you can calculate the other ones as well. Okay, once you're done with that thing, the next is to see that number in that chart. It's very easy to get that chart. You just need to put the BMI, Google it, and in the images you can start looking at different types of charts out there. Certain things you need to keep in your mind, that the values of body mass index of the male and the female, the scales are different. So you cannot There are certain general values, and then the male, and then for the female, and then for the kids as well. So whenever you are putting the values, you need to make sure that you are using the right chart for yourself. Just go and see the website from where you are downloading and analyzing the chart. For example, if this is a laboratory, I might be asking you to go and check your weight, go and measure your height, and then come back, give me the values, and then I will be asking. For example, if a person, this chart is actually already have everything. You don't need to calculate for this chart. So let's start calculating the body mass index of someone. किसका calculate करें? Let me see. कौन सबसे कम बोलता है क्लास में? Who do not ask things at all? कौन है जो ऑनलाइन क्लास में कभी नहीं बोला? बहुत सारे हैं. नहीं, मैं सोलोमन से नहीं पूछ रहा, शाहजेब से पूछ ले. तो कौन है जो अपना माइक अनम्यूट करेगा? To tell me about his values, about the mass and the height. किसको पता है अपनी height के बारे में? If nobody is coming, I will be asking the same question to.
सर अमीक नहीं कभी बोला.
अमीक आ जाओ सामने.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Amik, tell us, is that fine to ask these two personal questions from you about your mass?
Sure, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Tell us about your mass in kilograms.
Sir, my weight is 92 kgs.
92 kilograms?
Yes, sir.
Kilograms?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God.
Kilograms.
So here we go. So this is the kilograms. If you can see, let me use the pointer for you. Okay, look at that. The kilograms here. Can you see the kilogram is here? All these are kilograms.
Yes.
So Amik lives here, 91, something like that. This is just a rough. You can calculate with the formula more accurately. Okay, about 91. What is your height, sir? Amik?
6.0 feet.
6.03 का मतलब है 6 feet and 190.5. So this is Amik. You are sachi muchi macho. So 6'3" and then 190.5. So let's see how these two scales meet with each other. From here, we will go here, and then here. So 91 ended up here. Are you getting my point? You need to catch up these two scales together. 91 from here and 6.3 from here. You are ended up in 25. Can you see, Amik? You are just living in the borderline. The green thing is the people with the normal body mass index. These one are, I believe, little overweight. These one are like more overweight, and the red ones, they are like the people who are obese. They are underweight people here. Okay, so your one is about 25. So it seems that you are very close to have a BMI which is normal. If you manage to reduce your weight like just 5 kilograms, you might be ended up in 86, and that will give you a number about 24, and then you are all normal. So you can make this thing as a task for yourself during the lockdown, that I want to make myself normal.
Glad to know, sir.
So
yes, sir.
You can make yourself normal. हालांकि हम में से अक्सर normal नहीं है, but you can try to make yourself, at least हमारा BMI normal होना चाहिए. So we can live a healthier life. Okay. So I think this is clear. Now you need to know what you people are supposed to do. Okay. With this, it's very easy. The first thing you need to know is that you need to record the BMI of at least 15 to 30 subjects. I wanted you to go as many as you should, but since I need to set certain standards, so 15 to 30 is okay. And please try to be very honest. I mean, I can write any number for any XYZ people for my assignment, but do not try to follow this for an assignment. Just try to help other people. Try to let people know about the BMI. As many people as you can. You have like the most easiest of the way. I am telling you. If I am you, अगर मैं आपकी जगह पे होता, I want to stay honest with Dr. Mustafa, and I want to complete my assignment quickly. So how about that? I will be sharing a very simple formula, that formula of BMI, in some of my WhatsApp groups. And I will be asking to my friend, oh, tell me your mass, tell me your weight, and tell me your height. So I will be getting data from my friends, and then I will use my calculator and start putting the values. At your home, you know about your family as well, so you can use their values as well. Okay, you can measure yourself first and then the other people. Okay, for this thing, when you are drawing your data, you are not supposed to write anything which can reveal the identity of the subject, of the person. You're not using any name, you're not writing any name, anything, any hint which can be used to trace back that person. It is against the scientific, it is against the ethics of research. So it is your job to conceal the identity in such a way that even after some time you should not be able to get कि ये किसका था और ये किसका था. But you have all your rights for you, that you can, about your values, but you should execute that thing as an experimental, as a biology experiment. So you need to follow the principles and standards of experimental sciences. So you are not supposed to write the names. You are supposed to write them like a subject number 1, and then of course you should write the male or female and then the age. After that, you can generate an Excel sheet of your data, about 15 people, 30 people, और कोई बहादुर जो है वो might be like using more people, more and more, 40, 50 or anyway. You can arrange your data in different ways. You can arrange your data in different ways. What you can do is that you can separate the data of the males and the females. So you can think, you can imagine that what are the differences between the BMI of the males and the females for your brainstorming. You can separate the data based on the age of the different people. That this is the chart, this is the information about the older people I know. This is the chart which, like, my fellows, my university fellows, these are my family people, something. You can classify those data into different categories to generate certain deductions out of that data. And you will be telling me in your assignment that you have found that most of the female subjects, okay, I'm not against the female, okay, the feminist people should not fire me for that. I'm just giving an example that during my data is suggesting me that more females are out of the normal BMI values, like 25% of the females stays under the normal values of BMI, but 75% of the female I came across, according to my data, is telling me that they are overweight. Something like that. So whatever your data, you are not supposed to expect anything. You just need to generate data, and whatever the data is telling you, you need to write those lines about your data. Okay, so this is the first thing you need to know about the BMI. The second part which I will be teaching you is about the heartbeat. The heart is supposed to be like the, it is, क्या कहते हैं उसको, one of the most sensitive organ present in our bodies, and the job of the heart is to collect the blood from the different parts of the body and then send it back again to those parts. So in a nutshell, the heart is responsible for the circulation of blood within our body to serve two important functions. Number one, to supply the most critical ingredients of life, like oxygen and food particles, to every single cell present in our body. The other purpose is to supply the ingredients which can regulate the function of different organs in our bodies. Like on the other day, during the class of urinary system, somebody asked me, Fazila asked me that how hormones came to know that the water level is not enough in our body. So it is, the information is sent to the cells which are producing those hormones from the brain through the blood. So the blood is not only circulating the most important ingredients, but also supplying the components and ingredients which are required to regulate the function of those organs. So in the second session, we will be studying about the function of the heart, not most of the things related to the function of the heart, but whatever necessary, and about the heartbeat. And then I will be teaching you that how you can measure your own heartbeat. And then the experimental activity will be that you will be asked to measure the heartbeat of yourself and the other subjects in 3 different conditions. When the person is in the normal resting state, like you are at this time, and then when the person is moving or walking for like 4 to 5 minutes, and in the third state, when the person is executing an exercise. So you will be measuring and calculating the heartbeat of your subjects in these 3 different conditions. What you know already is that the person's heartbeat will be less when the person is like in the normal state. It will be more when the person is walking for some time. It will be high when the person is exercising. So you already know that thing, but you need to know these values. A person's heart is healthy if it is able to switch between these 3 states easily. Because when you are not executing any physical activity, your body do not require a lot of energy at that time. So the ingredients like food and oxygen should be supplied in less quantity. But when you are walking or when you are doing exercise, your body needs a lot of energy and a lot of ingredients. So the rate of heartbeat increases to supply all those ingredients to the body to fulfill the needs of walking as well as for the exercise. For the athletes and the sportsmen, because since they are repeating those activities again and again, you will come to know that their heartbeat does not require to be changed that much because they are used to exercise and all these things. Your data will let you know that the people who do not have a healthy heart and the people who are like a better or a healthy heart, you will come to know about the difference in the heartbeat levels of smokers and non-smokers, something like that, males and the females, old and the young. So your data will be fascinating, will be wonderful, and you can interpret that information in different ways. And then you will be writing your assignment using that data. I have prepared a file for you to put the data, and I will be sharing that the link as well. So you can create your own file as well, but you can use the file as a template as well. You can make it more beautiful with your information. So in the second session, I will be talking on the nature of that experiment, and then more about the heart and then the heartbeat. Okay, is that clear to everybody? Let us take a break for about some time, for a few minutes, for 4 or 5 minutes, and when I will be back with the function of the heart, as well as the things which you need to do for the second activity. I can tell you that it will going to be a very interesting activity when you will be asking your grandma or your pops or your moms that please walk for 5 minutes for us, and they will be begging you, please walk 5 minutes for us, and then I will be checking your heartbeat after that. It might be more fun if you ask your mom and dad to please exercise for 5 minutes for us. So you need to ask them to exercise for 5 minutes so that you can check their heartbeat once. Of course, their exercise will not be that much cardio. If the person is older, you can ask them to be a little bit more active for some period of time. If it is difficult for you to access the people, you can convince people, your friends on the WhatsApp and the other people, to execute that activity for you. All you need to do is to let them know the real instructions, which I am telling you, that please calculate the heartbeat in this way. I will be teaching how to, and then please calculate the heartbeat in the normal conditions, and then in the walking conditions, and then after the exercise. Okay, so welcome back to the second session. Fazila asked me a question that how she or the student should organize their data. The first thing, you should need to create data as much as possible from all sources and make a pool of information at one place. And after that, when you start separating that data based on the gender, on the age, you will be looking the same things in a different ways. And you might ended up in some new type of discoveries out there. I wish we should be able to execute that activity in a proper scientific way if we are in the university. I might be asking the group of students to go and analyze like the heartbeat levels or the BMI values of freshmen, just to see how healthy they are based on their heartbeats and based on their BMI. And you might be executing like 200 students or 300 students, and I can tell you this might be a research paper from your side. It might be a publication. And then I will be asking another group to go and check the BMI values of the students who are in their like 5th semester or 6th semester. And then I will be sending the third group to the students who are in their final semester. We might be able to know that when the students entered into university, they are very healthy, and slowly over the period of time, like they started losing their BMI values, they started losing control on their heartbeats, and then in the final semester they are less healthy as compared to their first semester. You know, freshmen are so sweet, they are so innocent. You can tell them anything and they will start believing. You can tell them Dr. Mustafa बहुत अच्छे teacher हैं, and they will start believing on this. You can tell them anything. वो हर आंसर के लिए अपने सीनियर्स को देखते हैं, अपने से बड़े को देखते हैं. Whatever they are talking, oh अच्छा ठीक है, ऐसे होता है. So we might be able to see the data in a very scientific way. So that simple activity will let you know how it is affecting the health of the university student. But if the numbers are not enough, you are just checking 10 students or 15 students, you will not be able to make good statements or good conclusions out of it. You need big data, and also that is only applicable to university students. So that is how the science usually work, and you need to know all these things. Okay, so let me take you back to the other part. Let me share my screen with you, and briefly about the heart first and then the activity, because I want you to know about the heart and the heartbeat as well. Although this portion is not included in the online classes anymore, the cardiocirculatory system, but I'm sorry, you are unfortunate that I'm telling you something, because this is very important. As a biology student, you should know about the function of your heart. Okay, so I added it into your lab activity. So आपको ये पढ़ने पड़े, one way or another. So let's start with the function of the heart. The size of the heart is typically like the fist. जितना हमारी एक मुट्ठी होती है, almost इतना size होता है आपके heart का. The heart is divided into two chambers. Remember, there are two different pumps, the right side and the left side. And you can see, yes, sir, this is supposed to be the right side. This is the right side from this direction. Okay, think from the heart side. This is the right side. It's the object's perspective. Okay, the right side and the left side. They are two pumps which are working separately from each other. The right side pump is collecting and distributing the blue blood, the deoxygenated blood, the blood coming from all parts of the body. गंदा खून भी कहते हैं इसको. And if it is a deoxygenated blood, it should go to where? It should go to the lungs, so that it can get rid of the carbon dioxide gas and it can receive oxygen. And in the lungs, the deoxygenated blood, the blue, will be converted into red, will be converted into oxygenated blood. साफ खून में convert हो जाए. And then it should come back to the other part of the heart, which is the right side of the heart. The clean blood is collected and then distributed from the left side to the all parts of the body. Any blood vessel which is going away from the heart is called as artery. Any blood vessel which is coming towards the heart is called as the vein. Okay, you need to remember that things. So these two pumps work separately. The first thing, the circulatory system provides blood to each and every single cell with the help of the arteries. When arteries enters into the body, moves into the Okay, sorry, there is an internet issue from my side. Are you getting me now? Okay, let me restart where I have stopped. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, so the job of the circulatory system is to provide oxygenated blood to all cells of the body. So that artery goes into the body, divide and divide and divide, eventually produces very, very small type of vessels called capillaries. This is the place, the blood capillaries, where the oxygen from the blood is transferred to the cells, and carbon dioxide gas from the cells is entered into the blood. So the blood becomes from the red, it will become blue. Means it loses the oxygen to the cells, it receives carbon dioxide gas, from the cells, and then that blood goes back all the way to the heart. Okay, almost 100,000 beats per day and 35 million beats per year. And this is the only unfortunate organ. There are other as well, but this one you can sense very easily. Okay, sorry, once again, I think the connection is lost from my side. So the heart never stops working. It kept on working. जब से पैदा हुए हैं, it continues working. It cannot take rest. It keeps on working. So the blood, the deoxygenated blue blood from the all parts of the body, from superior side, from upper side, from the lower side, is collected through these veins. Anything, any vessel which is coming toward heart is called as a vein, enters into the right side of the heart. The first chamber is called as right atrium, enters into the next chamber called right ventricle. There exist a walls between them, and from here, with the help of an artery called pulmonary artery, it enters into the lungs. The job of the lungs is to convert that blue blood into the red ones, the oxygenated blood. The carbon dioxide gas is gone, oxygen is entered into the blood, and then that blood is came back through the help of another vein called pulmonary vein back into the heart, the left side of the heart. From the left side of the heart, it enters into the first chamber called left atrium, from where it enters into the left ventricle. When left ventricles contract, the blood goes to the all parts of the body. So this is the job of the heart. The movement between the chambers are controlled by different valves. There exist different type of valves which controls the movement and one-sided flow of the blood. When heart contracts, it creates a pressure which is called as systolic pressure. When heart relaxed and enters into another phase, it creates another pressure called diastolic pressure. So one heartbeat consists of contraction and relaxation. When contraction and came back to and relaxation and came back to the initial state, the heartbeat completes its one cycle. So one cycle of the heartbeat consists of two stages, contraction and relaxation. When the heart contracts, it creates a pressure which is called systolic pressure or systole. When heart relaxes, it produces another pressure which is less, obviously, and it is called diastole or diastolic pressure. जब आप blood pressure की values doctor से लेकर आते हैं, it gives you two numbers. Then what is the normal blood pressure? Doctor is saying 120 by 80. So 120 belongs to the systolic pressure and 80 belongs to the diastolic pressure. So there are two types of blood pressure exist out there. So that is how heart works. Let me take you to the next way, that how you can execute your activity. The first thing you need to know that how you can measure your heartbeat. You can measure your heartbeat with the help of any artery which you can sense from outside. You can sense your artery present in your arm, very famous one. अपनी नब्ज से पता लगा सकते हैं with the help of your thumb by placing your thumbs nicely on your in your forearm. You can sense the heartbeat in your jugular vein, sharak ke paas, by placing your fingers slowly, nicely on your neck. आमतौर पर movies में ऐसे होता है, देखते हैं कि बंदा मर गया है, heart is not beating, just placing hands over there that will give you a sense. You can feel the beat of your heart. Let me help that video. The presenter is more beautiful than me. She will be telling you how to measure. The link is there. You can go through the link as well. So you just need to put your finger on the jugular vein, and in the meanwhile, you are supposed to count the beats for 10 seconds. So where the 10 seconds will be, you can put it, you can use your phone as a stopwatch. You can use your watch as well. For the 10 seconds, you need to wait and count the beats. Let's suppose you manage to count 6 beats in 10 seconds. That means in 1 minute, it will be 6 multiplied by the whatever the number of beats you get. For example, if in 10 minutes, if in 10 seconds, you manage to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For example, in 10 seconds, you manage to count 8 beats. So that means in 60 seconds, it will be 48. Am I right? 8 multiplied by 6. So you need to measure the number of beats in 1 minute. And that is called as the heartbeat, the rate of your heart, the heartbeat rate. That's what I want you to measure. That is what I want you to calculate for yourself and for the other people as well. Okay? But the experiment is that if you are present in a resting state, the rate of your heartbeat will be less. But if you are moving, you are walking, the rate of your heartbeat will be more. And if you are exercising, the rate of your heartbeat will be maximum. So you need to do that experiment in 3 different states. First at the resting state, and then after 5 minutes of the walk at your home and whatever the place you are. And then you need to ask your subject to involve in a very extensive cardio exercise. But of course, you need to take care of the age as well. You cannot ask your grandpa to like have a jogging out there right away. You can ask them to be like maximum exercise which they can do. For the young people, you can like for 5 minutes you can try these type of certain things, or a jogging or a fast running, something like that. Sprinter लगा के ना भाग. घर में कुछ नहीं है. The most easiest of the way to get a high quality exercise in no time is to ask the subject to go upstairs, like छत से कपड़े लेकर आओ, like 2 or 3 times. Stairs चढ़ो ऊपर नीचे 2-3 मर्तबा for 5 minutes के लिए, and then the person is like in the very heavy cardio state after that. And then repeat the experiment, count the heartbeats in 10 seconds, multiply by with the 6, you will get the heartbeat rate. Okay, sorry. It's not a very nice time. Internet is interrupting us again and again. Anyways, I'm almost done. So the important thing is that every experiment which you will be doing, you need to execute that experiment at least for 3 times. That is very important, because you might not be able to measure the heart rate perfectly in the first attempt. There might be a chance of error. So you need to execute that activity at least 3 times. Like for example, in the resting state, you need to, for 10 seconds you are counting, and you ended up like 55 is the heartbeat rate of that person. Me. I will be repeating that experiment again. This time I might be ended up in 58. I will be repeating that experiment one more time once again. I might be ended up in 53 this time. So using, I will generate 3 numbers for one experiment, and then I will take the average to write down in my file. So first you need to create an Excel file. I have created for you. You can borrow that one as well. I will be giving you the link, and it is placed on the Google Drive. So you can download it and you can use it. At least try to reach 10 to 15 minimum people to get that data. And then after that, we will be looking at male and female, who is more better, who is less, who is more strong, whose heart is working better than other people. And let me show you the file. That is very important. That how you can put your data. If anybody have any question related how to execute that activity, he or she can ask right now. I will be showing the file, okay? So this is the file. I have shared the Google Drive link, and let me share the file as well. Okay. If anybody have any question that how he will be executing that experiment, you can ask now, or you can ask in the upcoming class as well. But try to execute that experiment as an experiment. Do not expect the person looks very healthy. Do not expect the data. Let whatever the data is coming out of there, just put that data in that file. We will see after that. Maybe the people you believe are very strong.
We have very few family members.
Okay, sorry. जी, आप कोई question पूछ रहे हैं? मैं complete कर लूँ? You might.
Sir,
let me complete the
yes,
sentence.
Sir, sure.
Sorry about that. So the first thing is that you need to let the data come, and you are not supposed to expect, because whatever the health of the heart will only be calculated with the data. It's not the best of the way to calculate the heart health. You should talk to the doctor first, by the way. But like just whatever for an activity, that person looks very healthy, that does not mean you should assume that the data will be. I found many students whose heartbeat are very, very low as compared to the other people, and they look very nice and fine. Their heartbeat rate is not changing with exercise. They look nice and fine. So you don't need to expect, just let the data come, and then after that make your interpretation. Your interpretation might be wrong, but you just need to stick with your information. I have found that many people with that much heart rate, the male people with that much, the female with that much. जी फाजला का सवाल है कि सर can the number of subjects in this experiment can be more than 50? Of course, you should go maximum number of people, okay? 15, 16, 20, 21, 25. To complete the activity, to get the grades, to get the score is 10 to 15. I'm making it easier, so everybody should at least end it up with something. And I can tell you that just try to be very, very honest, okay? ये इसलिए भी जरूरी है, just to feel that activity as a lab student. Solomon has asked a question, sir, how many people we supposed to look for booth experiment? I mean, at least 10 to 15 is the requirement. The more you go, the more reliable your data will be. लोग आपकी बात ज्यादा मानेंगे अगर आपने ज्यादा subjects के ऊपर experiments किए होंगे. जी, now you can ask or you can speak the question. Somebody wanted to ask a question. Who is she? जी मिशा, आप क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहती हैं?
जी सर.
जी शाबाश पूछिए.
सर एक तो ये कि हार्ट रेट वाला जो है वो 15 लोगों से कैसे करेंगे टेस्ट, और उसके अलावा इसकी डेडलाइन भी बता दें.
डेडलाइन इसकी 1 वीक की है, ओके? सो ये उसका वो अलग बात है. बहुत सारे लोगों से कैसे करेंगे, दैट्स अ पॉइंट. फॉर दैट एटलीस्ट आपका जो जोर चलता है वो फैमिली के ऊपर चलता है. दे आर द मोस्ट अनफॉर्चुनेट इमीडिएट पीपल अराउंड यू. You will be using them for your university. अल्लाह का वास्ता मेरा यूनिवर्सिटी का काम है. So they are the unfortunate subjects for your experiment first. After that, if you are not able to reach people, if you are not able to like sit with the people, you need to teach them how to measure their heartbeat at their homes, and they will be executing that experiment for you on your behalf. Like you are talking with
सर
your friends.
वो
जी
BMI वाले स्प्रेडशीट से रिलेटेड है कि जो BMI का ग्राफ है वो हमने हर कैटेगरी का अलग लेना है. फॉर एग्जांपल चार्ट जो है उसका वो फीमेल्स का अलग, मेल्स का अलग, एज का या जेंडर
बिल्कुल
वाइज.
बिल्कुल ऐसे होता है बिल्कुल. What I want you to do is that you need to go for a BMI जो कि जनरल चार्ट है, but you need to know that the values should be different. मतलब किसको नॉर्मल कहेंगे किसको नहीं कहेंगे. You need to know the gender as well. So you should have both the charts with you when you are interpreting the data. अगर आप किसी को बता रहे हैं, मतलब somebody showed me a report of a medical patient of a patient about the levels of a certain hormone and enzyme in the body. जैसे हम CBC कराते हैं, इस तरह कुछ टेस्ट कराते हैं बॉडी के. Then the person's name was male, but the gender was written female on the report by the laboratory. Now guess, the computer will be calculating the values based on the gender. Who knows that value might be normal for the males? It might be different for the females. So if you are getting a BMI, it might be normal for the ladies, but might be overweight for the males. So that is something you need to know while making your conclusions about the BMI values. I'm sorry once again, I think internet is not good from my side. So before time khatam ho jaye, let me show you the file, and we have like 1 week to complete that assignment. So you can also ask the same questions about that. In the meanwhile, jab aap ye kar rahe honge, you can ask like 3 or 4 people today, and then 4 to 5 people tomorrow, and then you might be ended up with like a good data. Okay, let me show you that file. I just made a rough file for you people, which can help you to make some graphs and as well. So it should be like this. If you're able to see my, for example, I have just put the heading. You can change the headings. You can change your name and all these things. You should make it more fancy, okay? You should make it more fancy than me. And then I have put the numbers of subjects. You are not supposed to write the names. You are supposed to write give them certain numbers. Like if you can put your name as well here. Like if I am here, I will put MM-1, something like that. This subject belongs to my experiment. And then you need to put like the age here, gender here, then normal state mein you will get the first value, the second value, and the third value from that person. I told you the same experiment 3 times, and then you put the average value here. Then in the walking state, the first value, the second value, the third value, you put the average here. And then when the person is exercising, the first value, second value, and the third value from the same person, and then you put the average here. So that is how you will be generating your pool data. And after that, you can use the average values. For example, I'm just putting some suppose values here that you want to generate a graph. There are subjects 1, 2, 3, 4, and there should be like up to 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50. These are the normal values. They are the normal average values. They are the walking state values, average values. They are the exercise values. So whatever the averages were there should be put here. And then I wanted to see how it changes. I am selecting that data. I am going to convert them into a graph. I will go and click on insert graph, and I can choose any type of graph. And that is how I ended up with this one. So I have a graph for these 4 subjects. This is the heartbeat in the 3 states for subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, and 4. And you can see that when the person is started moving, the rate of heartbeat increases. When the person is started exercising, the rate of heartbeat increases further. So that is a pattern you should expect. And you can see if that is not happening, something is not nice, something is not right with the person, or something is different. with that person, or either the person is old. So after that, I will be rewriting that data on the basis of their gender here, like males, people here, and then females here. Then I will recreate the graphs based on their gender. I can make another chart for the kids as well, and I will be like using them as a subject and then creating the data as well. But remember, using kids in research requires another type of permissions. Okay, you cannot use anybody in the experiment without telling that person certain things without taking their consent. So it is like, you are my mom, you are my father, but even then I want you to accept that you will going to be a subject in my experiment. So please, traditionally in life sciences experiment, we ask the person to sign a consent form. And you can have a consent form as well, but since this is a pretty cool activity and not very I mean dangerous one, so I think we might be avoided. We can avoid that thing as well. So that is how you ended up with that file. So that file with your interpretation will be your assignment, and that file you will send me with your understanding, with your outcomes, with your deductions from your data, and along with that Excel file you will be sending this to me along with the lines and descriptions of your experiment. You are supposed to write that this is your experiment, this is your methodology, that is how you will be executing your experiment, that many people are out there as a subject, and this is your results. And then you will be sharing with me with your results. It should be written in a scientific way. What is your experiment? Number 2, what is the method you are using? And number 3, what are your results? Okay. Yeah. Solomon, of course I have prepared this thing file in the early morning for you people. Don't worry. I have prepared this for you. मुझे पता है मेरे जवान जो है ना वो मेहनत करने के मामले में इतने अच्छे नहीं है. They will, मुझे पता है कि ये कल को मुझसे 6 लोग मांगेंगे अलग-अलग टाइम के ऊपर कि सर ये मुझे बताएं ये ग्राफ कैसे बनाना है, सर ये मुझे बताएं ये फाइल रखनी कैसे. तो मैंने ये रात को सोचा था कि इससे पहले कि आप मुझसे मांगे मैं आपके लिए फाइल बना दूंगा. और आई हैव ये जो आप लिंक देख रहे हैं ना इसके ऊपर आपकी स्लाइड के ऊपर जो लिंक है ये इसी का लिंक है गूगल ड्राइव का. जब आप इसको अपने पे पेस्ट करेंगे अपने पास, दैट विल डाउनलोड द फाइल विल टू यू, एंड देन यू कैन डाउनलोड एंड पुट योर नेम एंड यू कैन. बट आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग यू पीपल शुड मेक इट बेटर देन मी. मैंने तो बस ऐसे रैंडम बनाया ना फटाफट. आपने इसको ब्यूटीफाई करना है ना. आप मेल्स को अलग कलर दे सकते हैं, फीमेल्स को अलग कलर दे सकते हैं, किड्स को अलग कलर दे सकते हैं. आप डेटा की को इस तरह से प्रेजेंट करना सीखेंगे. इट शुड बी मोर अंडरस्टैंडेबल. इमेजिन अगर यहाँ पर 3 ग्राफ हुए विद डिफरेंट कलर एंड ऑल द लेजेंड्स, किसी बंदे को इस सारे पूल डाटा में घुसने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. नोबडी शुड नीड्स टू वरी अबाउट दैट डाटा. दे कैन गेट योर आंसर्स इन नो टाइम हियर. ओ मेल्स का हार्ट बीट इतना होता है ज्यादा, फीमेल्स का हार्ट बीट इतना होता है. You will be able to compare everything in no time. So science mein it's more about how you present your data. And this experiment is not limited to life or biology. I'm telling you, it will help you in every experiment which you will be involved in the future. Social sciences ka, psychology ka, I mean whatever the data you are collecting, you need to know the flow of experimental science. So once you are having the pool data, I mean मैं इससे मजे की डाटा, आई एम नॉट फॉर एग्जांपल मैं सिर्फ ये करता हूं कि तमाम मेल्स जिनका मैंने डाटा कलेक्ट किया है, तमाम मेल्स की हार्ट बीट का एवरेज लेता हूं, तमाम फीमेल्स की हार्ट बीट्स का एवरेज लेता हूं, एंड आई कंपेयर देम टू सी इफ जनरली स्पीकिंग द मेल हैज ए हायर हार्ट बीट रेट एज कंपेयर टू द फीमेल्स. Maybe this might be there. So there are so many ways you can cross check and you can make interpretation out of the same data. And that I want you to brainstorm and to see your data in different ways. You should come up with something very new with me, because I have analyzed the heartbeat rate of kids, and I came to know that certain kids has a heartbeat level almost equal and similar to the old people. Anything new might be there. We don't know. That's why I'm telling you, do not expect. Let the data come and then interpret it. So after that, you should be able to know about the heartbeat, and then how to generate data, how to place the data, and how to present that data. Okay, and if you have more questions, do ask me in the upcoming session as well, so that I will answer you, and it should be a perfect laboratory activity, so we can claim at the end of the day that we have executed certain experiment. Okay, so this is it from my side. And if you don't have any more question, I can conclude the session. And I wish all of you a very good luck from my side once again, and a very wonderful weekend. Misha, you want to ask some question? Your mic is on. Gigi.
Yes, sir. Sir, do we have to draw this graph for every subject, like individually, or is it supposed to be collective?
Misha, all these possibilities are there. This is something which I want you to try. The first way, raw data. हर एक subject का अलग अलग. Every subject has a separate graph. The first graphs will be like that. How many more ways are out there which you can try? Putting them into groups like males and females. How many more ways? Putting them based on their ages. Young people, older people. That is another way. So you need to try all those things. There is no one specific agent. I want you to make interpretation out of that data. And you are supposed to create as many interpretation as possible with the help of that raw data you are generating. Okay? Okay, thank you very much for that session. Once again, I wish all of you a very wonderful weekend.